This film starts in the year 2003 in the city of Los Angeles. A game party is going on in a house where a young couple, Debbie and Peter, start kissing and then have sex. Peter wants to become a writer. Fast forward to the year 2023. Peter now lives in New York, while Debbie is still in Los Angeles. Debbie calls Peter to wish him a happy birthday, and she got him the greatest birthday present that is the 911 Porsche in purple. They catch up on each other's lives over a video call. They reminisce about the first night they met, and Debbie shows him a lucky coin that she had with her when they first met. She was very serious about Peter, but he left her and moved on. Debbie later married someone else and now has a son named Jack, but her husband was not with her because he was fond of adventure. And for the sake of adventure, her husband always remains outside the home. She wants to visit Peter in New York to complete her study project. Peter currently lives with his girlfriend Kate, and he tells her about Debbie's plan to visit. Kate has no issues with Debbie, but as they discuss her, Kate realizes that Peter is very close to Debbie and that he did not marry her. Kate decides to break up with Peter and leave him. They were in a relationship for about 6 months. Debbie goes to Jack's school, where his old friends do not want to talk to him. Here, Debbie meets Alicia, who works at the school. Alicia advises her to have some fun during her study project, as she has no social life as a single mother. Debbie also has financial issues because her son has medical issues, which is why she stops Jack from playing hockey, causing his friends to stop talking to him. Debbie is worried about her son. Debbie's friend, Scarlett, was acting in front of her son Jack. Debbie asked her why she was acting, and she told her that she got a chance to act in a series. She was going for a shoot in 2 weeks, and she can't take care of Jack. Peter had some issues with his seniors because their consulting period with him is up. Peter said, "We spent so much time together over the last 6 months, but they didn't accept any excuse and fired him from his job." He felt sad and returned home. When he came back home, he received a gift from Debbie for his birthday. He opened the gift and found some cookies. He picked them up and started eating. The next morning, while taking breakfast, Debbie is staring at Jack. Jack asked, "Why are you staring?" She said, "I'm gonna miss you a whole lot. Who could take care of you when I could not?" But she decides to finish the program next year. Debbie told Peter that she couldn't come because she had no one to take care of Jack. Peter offered to come to Los Angeles to help her, but she refused, saying that Jack was a sick boy who needed extra care and attention. Peter rejected all her doubts and decided to come to Los Angeles. Debbie agreed at last and starts packing. She is still worried about Jack, but she said to herself it's only for 1 week. Debbie dropped Jack off at school and said, "I will call you every day." Debbie said goodbye to her son and left for New York. Peter arrived in Los Angeles and went to Jack's school where he meets Alexia. She looks great. She warmly welcomed Peter and expressed her joy, saying that it was really nice of him to come out here to take care of Jack. After some time, Jack arrived and Peter warmly greeted him. When they moved towards the car, Peter noticed that Jack's friends named Wade and Evan were ignoring him. Peter offered Jack to drive the Porsche, but Jack refused, saying he didn't like to drive it. Peter said he would bring the Lotus and Jack could drive it. Now they are on the road and enjoying music. Peter asked Jack why his friends were ignoring him, and Jack replied that it was because of hockey. "Wade and I were friends and we used to skate at the rink together, but now he plays on the team and I can't, so he hangs out with Evan, who does." Peter was surprised to hear this, and Jack also told him that he couldn't play basketball because he was allergic to the gym. They reached home, and Debbie's home was on the side of the entire hill. Peter met Zen, who spent most of the time in Debbie's garden. When they entered the home, Peter noticed that Debbie had labeled everything. Peter received a call from Debbie, who reminded him of how to take care of Jack. Peter said they would figure out dinner, but Debbie replied that they didn't have to worry about it because she left dinner in the fridge. Peter became fed up with this and said goodbye to Debbie. He asked Jack if he was allergic to Mexican food, and Jack replied no. They threw the frozen food in the dustbin and went out for dinner. When Debbie entered Peter's house, she was surprised to see how well managed it was. However, she started to redo it. At that moment, the doorbell rang. When Debbie opened the door, a woman named Minka entered. Minka is in a relationship with Peter. Debbie introduced herself, and Minka asked where Peter was. Debbie told her he was at her place in LA and that she was just here for a few days. Minka offered to buy her a drink, but she refused, saying she had to get up early for her classes. Minka said it was okay and left. That night, Peter called Debbie and she informed him about Minka's visit. Debbie asked him what they were doing, and he said Jack was doing his homework, but in reality, Jack was busy watching a movie. Peter asked about Zen, and Debbie told him that Zen was doing a great job with the garden, so she let him do his thing. She asked Peter why his house looked so empty, and he laughed and told her she stole all his things. After some conversation, Peter suggested that she go to sleep. In the morning, while preparing breakfast, Peter noticed a list in the kitchen. Debbie had listed all the nuts he was allergic to, so he chose sunflower butter and an orange for breakfast. However, Jack did not like anything, so they went out for breakfast. While eating, Peter told Jack about his mother and how smart and ambitious she was when they first met. They discussed many things. After breakfast, Peter dropped Jack off at school and told him that after school, they were going to the Kings game, and he could invite whoever he wanted. He said this because Jack's friends were listening to him. At that moment, Alexia came and sat in Peter's car. Peter offered her coffee, and she accepted. The next day, Debbie went to attend her class where she learned about a writer named Alex Haley who wrote a book of the biography of Malcolm X. Later, she received a call from Minka, who was coming to pick her up for coffee. After school, Peter and Jack went to the hockey stadium, where Jack's friends joined them, and they enjoyed eating and watching the match. Debbie went to the coffee shop with Minka, and there she shared about her ex-husband Jimmy, who was a mountain climber, and how their adventures didn't match. During their conversation, Debbie noticed two guys sitting at the next table, one of whom was a professor at her school, and the other was Theo Martin, the editor of Duncan Press. Debbie and Minka went to their table and they had a talk with them. Theo felt happy to know that Debbie was fond of reading, and when they left, he asked for her contact number. While coming back home, Minka was surprised to know that Debbie and Peter were old-fashioned book lovers. Debbie was surprised to learn that Peter had written a whole novel, and she didn't even know about it. Later, while taking a bath, Debbie called Peter and asked him if they had discussed everything. Peter revealed that he had taken Jack to the hockey game without asking her, and had brought his friends along. He also ate pizza, but she replied that she trusted him, and he didn't have to report everything to her. However, she was disappointed that Peter hadn't told her about his novel. After this, she read the novel whenever she had time and decided to give it to Theo, and told him that she wanted to get the book to him as soon as possible because she was leaving town soon. Theo asked if the book was hers, but she explained that it was about a 13-year-old boy whose father died due to a stroke and how he became allergic to himself. She told him that as a mother of a 13-year-old boy, she got emotional about it. Theo agreed to read the book, and when he left, Minka asked Debbie when she was going to tell Peter. Peter was driving his car on the road with Jack beside him. He told Jack that they were going to play hockey with his team, which made Jack very happy. Jack asked him when they were going to tell his mom. Peter said, "We'll tell her when she gets back." Debbie was taking her lecture when she received a call from Minka. Minka took her to the Duncan Press because Theo had called her about publishing Peter's book. After some hesitation, she agreed. Theo offered her dinner. She accepted this offer. The next day, Peter took Jack to the ice hockey stadium, and Jack was thrilled because he really liked playing hockey with his team and with his friends. He starts playing hockey and performed very well. Minka brought some dresses for Debbie, but Debbie was feeling tense because Peter didn't know that she was going to publish his book. She also had a final exam the next day. Minka insists for her to try the dress on. When Peter and Jack returned home, both seemed to be very happy because of Jack's performance. Peter called him Jack Frost. The following day, Debbie met Theo outside her house where they discussed Peter's novel and other matters. After some time, they returned home and started kissing. Eventually, they had sex, but by mistake, Debbie turned on the camera of the house without knowing. Peter received a notification on his phone and checked the camera, and then he noticed Debbie and Theo having sex. He was in great shock and threw his mobile because he really loved her. He called Alicia to take care of Jack and left the home. Peter went to the bar and ordered wine to release his tension. He then called his old girlfriend Vanessa Morton and she asked what he was doing in town. He told her he was watching Debbie's kid for a while. During this, Peter received a call from Debbie, but he ignored it. After some time, he went back home and told Alicia about his relationship with Debbie. He said that when they had sex for the first time, they were in a relationship, but a couple of days later, he saw her with Jimmy. Therefore, he could not propose to her because of Jimmy. When they met again, she was pregnant, but he still loved her and couldn't live without her. He didn't want to end their friendship. He was depressed. When Debbie took her final exam, she went to Peter's house to pack her things. Minka was also there to help her. While packing, she received a call from Theo who asked her out on a date. She was confused and told Minka about it. Minka advised her to go on the date. While searching for her clothes, Debbie found a package from Peter containing photos of her and her son Jack, and a lucky coin that Peter had given her when they first met. She realized how much Peter loved her and that she also had feelings for him. Minka advised her to tell Peter how she felt. Peter and Jack were at the ice hockey stadium where Jack was playing well. Debbie was on her way to meet Theo, who offered her an interview for a full-time editor position at Macmillan. At the same moment, Jack fell and went unconscious on the ice. An ambulance arrived quickly, and he was taken to the hospital. Peter called Debbie and told her about the situation. She became angry and told Peter to put Jack on the phone. Jack reassured her that he was okay and that he had a great week with Peter, where they watched movies, drove in a convertible, and drank coffee. He told her not to be mad at Peter. At that moment, Jack's friends came to meet him. Peter apologized to her, but she did not accept it and told him to go while she went home. When she landed in LA, she called Peter and said she was going straight to the hospital. Peter informed her that Jack was at home with Alicia and he was fine. She suddenly noticed that Peter was near her at the airport and asked him what he was doing there. Surprised, she asked him about Minka, and he asked her about Zen and Theo. She told him that she gave him her kid, and her whole life was her kid. She showed him a lucky coin and asked why he went through her things and didn't tell her. He replied that he was scared and not good enough for her. However, he confessed that he was madly in love with her and they couldn't just be friends anymore. They started kissing. 15 minutes later, they looked very happy, and she couldn't wait to see Jack. 6 months later, Peter published a book, Debbie got a job as an editor, and Jack had many hockey practices. They lived happily ever after and had a good life. To watch such fantastic videos, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notifications, and also like our videos and comment. You can share stories with us also. Thank you.